what we've been getting, as this slide shows, is growth without prosperity, uneconomic growth. What we really need is prosperity without growth. We're not going to solve the climate change problem, I believe, with increasing conventional economic growth. We need to redefine what prosperity means, something closer to GPI, for example, and focus on that. Next slide. So this key is, I think, understanding the relationship between these four types of capital and sustainable human well-being. How do we create this high quality of life and use all of our assets in a more balanced way, in a more comprehensive way, and recognize we're going to need new measures of what progress is in this context, and we're going to have to get off of GDP as our sole primary measure of progress. Next slide. Ecosystem services, which are the benefits that people derive from ecosystems, are certainly going to be a major component of this continuing well-being, as they always have been. But we have not, in the past, measured them effectively and built them into our decision-making process. That's beginning to change. This is from the Millennium Ecosystem Assessment. There's been a huge amount of work recently on ecosystem services and how valuable they are to human well-being. Next slide. Several years ago, we tried to synthesize the existing information on the value of ecosystem services, came up with a number that far exceeded the value of global GDP. So even then, and I think the situation has gotten even more critical, the contribution of ecosystem services has far exceeded the value of the built capital, the conventional things that we measure in the market. And we've got to take that much more strongly on board. Next slide. In the U.S., the total value of these assets, common assets, this natural and social capital together, has been estimated to far exceed the private assets in the country and the state assets. Next slide. And I'm getting close to the end, and I know I'm just about over my time, if I'm not past already. But this is just a summary of the differences between this current empty world model and the full world model. That our primary policy goal has to shift from more increasing GDP to better. How do we shift to quality and real development rather than just mere growth? We have to create different measures of progress, something like GPI, although that's certainly not the perfect measure, but something in that range. And there's a lot of work now on alternatives to GDP that I think will produce fruit as we go forward. We need to recognize that the scale and carrying capacity are a primary concern. They haven't been in the conventional model. We need to recognize that distribution and poverty are a primary concern. We can't depend on trickle-down theories and the rising tide to lift all boats. We have to directly address the distribution of wealth issue. We have to recognize that economic efficiency is not going to occur if we don't include all of the external natural and social capital assets in our allocation mechanisms, as we say they are not doing now. We have to have a much more nuanced set of property rights to deal with our common assets. And we need a reinvigorated role for government. It certainly has to play a central role in all of these functions, but maybe include some new functions as referee and facilitator and broker in a suite of new institutions that will need to design to deal with these common assets. Next slide. I think this is almost the last one. Yes, next to last. To this transition to a sustainable quality of life economy requires investing, as Tim said, in all of these types of capital. We need to have a wide-scale conversion of our built capital assets to run on renewable energy and higher efficiency and effective mass transit, etc. But we also need to invest in our human, our social, and our natural capital assets to create fulfilling work, full employment. That's going to require that we all work less and have more free time. But also that we have access to quality education and universal health care, and that we also limit population. I think we have to directly address that issue. We have to rebuild our social capital by rewarding community involvement, and I think working fewer hours will allow the connections and the social capital to be built. And we have to restore our natural capital assets, the atmosphere being one of the most critical ones at the moment, and develop some institutions that can help us get the concentration of CO2 in the atmosphere under control. I don't think we'll ever do that if we continue on our growth at all costs path. And finally, the last slide is just a plug for a new journal that we're starting that is aimed at creating a dialogue on what these solutions might look like. What does this new economy and new society look like, and how do we go about achieving it? So I would send you to the website for that journal to take a look at what we're trying to achieve, and recommend that you both subscribe and contribute ideas to this ongoing dialogue. Okay, thanks very much.